with this book, Hunger, Thirst, Sex, and Sleep: How the Brain Controls Our Passions. And there's pretty much one part that John K. Young talked about that he said was above the rest and everything else. And that simply is the hypothalamus. And pretty much why the hypothalamus? Because, for the neurotransmitters and everything's to work, they have to pass through the hypothalamus. And from there, onward and onward. But they have to pass through the hypothalamus. And that's also where, this stuff is regulated at. Sort of, in a sense. It's just, because we know, it's pretty much regulated all around the brain, but, the hypothalamus might have more importance than, say, the cerebellum in these things. So, hunger and thirst, those are, I don't want to say synonymous, actually. Because hunger, this is actually a great topic, actually. The author was trying to say that some people, they're more fat genetically. And, I was thinking, how does that work? How does someone genetically become more fat? And that's simply because they have a bigger appetite. That's all it is. Their brain is different from mine. So, my appetite and someone else's appetite is 300 pounds. It's going to be totally different. So, that's why some people can gain weight. And the author, he also talked about people with anorexia. And he tried to break that down in scientific terms, about some gene that we had, humans have, and some women, they become anorexic because they have the gene. Nah, and he even said it. He did a study and he found out it wasn't true. And it's nice to know that there are some things that we can't solve. I don't want to say it's nice to know, because of course it would be nice to know everything, but I've learned in the past week that not knowing some things are pretty good. So that's cool. That there's still mysteries for me to solve, because I'm gonna solve them. But again, some people, they could be fat just genetically from their hypothalamus. The way that it's all set up and things. And thirst, this is actually a weird one, because the author said it started in the liver. And from everything that I've learned, I thought everything started in the brain. But I guess, I don't know, it might start in the brain, but they said that they got signals from the liver first and then sent signals up to the brain. And, of course, more things happened. That's pretty much how it works. Things just happen. With the brain, in seconds, things just happen. So thirst, that's definitely a confusing one, I could say. Because I really thought everything started in the brain first. And then, the author could be wrong. 30 years of studying might not amount to much. I'm thinking 30 years of studying is probably a lot. And next is sex, And this one, he talked about kind of just the parts of our brain that are activated to get us aroused. And also, he talked about how people can become, or why people become transgender and things. And that's simply because when their hypothalamus is being created, they receive too much of the opposite hormone. So if they're a man and they're supposed to have testosterone, they receive too much estrogen. And I've actually read this in another book too, about, just kind of hormones in general, and how it messes, it could literally change someone. So being transgender, that's pretty much a neurological disease. We can say it's pretty much a disease, bro. And I don't know what people's opinions are on this, but scientifically, I think it's kind of true. I feel like it's true, at least. It's a disease, because wow, if we give them testosterone, then or if they didn't have that other hormone, then that would pretty much be normal. So it definitely is a disease, I would say. And sleep, that's is again hypothalamus. That's pretty much what the book was about, the hypothalamus. But sleep is there's more hormones. I don't want to say more, but there's hormones with sleep, like adenosine, melatonin. Some serotonin comes in too. So it's definitely just definitely regulated by our body. But I just want to talk about the meaning. And back to the hunger thing about how not everything can be solved scientifically. Now, some things can. Like, again, why people are transgender. I feel like that's a plausible fact. Now, I'm not going to go around telling everybody like I know it. But, because I don't know, just reading it in two books, that doesn't mean it's true. So I guess you have to really dig deeper into this stuff if you really want to know about it. But that's some cool ideas. That's a very cool idea. But this was hunger, thirst, sex, and sleep.